I will never tell you what to do with your trades or investments, as I am not a financial advisor. Any and all content provided by me contains my own speculative opinion on the market. As such, this content should not be used to make trading or investment decisions. The market is extremely volatile, and the decisions you make should be based on your own due diligence. If you should make a trade or investment decision based off the speculative content that we provide, this disclaimer legally relinquishes me from any and all responsibility. Past market performance is not indicative of future market results. Trading in any market is extremely risky, and you should conduct your own research and analysis prior to making trading or investing decisions.
Well. Welcome back, everybody, to Black Fire Analysis. Happy Thursday. I hope everybody is having a flourishing and profitable week thus far in the trading market. I hope everybody is living a happy and glorious life this week. Today we had some cataclysmic conversations in the study group chat. Very exciting stuff. I was absolutely thrilled to be having those kinds of analysis and fundamental debates, basically wrapped around Bitcoin and a couple of other assets. It was a really great time doing that with a couple of the guys in there. I do appreciate the opportunity to hear you guys voice your technical opinions, so on and so forth. Again, everything is valid, everything is welcome, and when it comes to that kind of stuff, there technically is no right or wrong. It's all just wrapped around interpretation. Again, it was absolutely fantastic. I hope we dive into some deeper conversations tomorrow. But for now, we're going to go ahead and wrap on into that analysis, and we're going to go ahead and start off with Nasdaq by first identifying the bearish divergence call that has been printed and confirmed on the RSI. Here we have a higher high on RSI, followed by a slightly lower high. Obviously, the more divergence between your tops here, the more powerful it is likely to be. But we see that results in a nice little pullback all the way down below the breakout point here, testing this prior low. This is kind of the region here that I'm going to be looking at for a potentially larger pullback down to this region here. Again, if we see this level break, we will see a confirmed change of behavior on the daily time frame, and I will start looking for targets all the way back down near the yellow 21 moving average here, or the 14,530 level, the prior base low here. Well, not a base, but the prior low set right here. Anything below that, realistically, we're going to be playing with potential targets here at 14,188, and likely the top of this box zone here. That's the downside perspective. We do see momentum from a stochastics perspective getting dangerously close to crossing that threshold here. This may be the top call that we've been looking for. Now, is this an extremely bearish top call? No, not at all. We only saw a little bit of a pullback, to be quite honest with you. Nothing change of behavior-esque. Not even a full percent to the downside here for Nasdaq. Still very bullish. Actually, let me go ahead and turn on my my moving averages here. If I'm smart enough to remember, 200, we need the 55, we need the 89, the 200, and the 377. There we go. Yeah, just below the red 10 simple here. Again, nothing too cataclysmic from my perspective here. Nothing that's saying, hey, it's going to reverse right now. But this is a little bit of a warning signal. What I'm going to be looking for here, again, to the downside, is this target right here at 14,700. Any closure below there, then I'm going to be looking for that trickling to the downside from Nasdaq here. Again, this has just been an absolutely parabolic move to the upside for Nasdaq. Seeing more of a correction right now would more or less be a decent thing long term. Again, that's just a huge, powerful move from this base low here. That basically faked me out, but I have a better identification of swing highs and swing lows right now. So now that I see it in hindsight, yeah, it's a higher low structure in a very bullish market, sending this to a parabolic rip to the upside, hitting the one spot 414 Fibonacci extension target here, and now seeing again a little bit of a pullback as a result. Again, anytime we see new all-time highs, meet those Fibonacci extension targets, I am always going to be looking for pullbacks. Those are areas of heavy interest. Again, they're unmapped regions, obviously with no volume history whatsoever. Upon price action reaching those points, but when you see a target met, it's kind of it's kind of time to start thinking, hey, maybe we see a little bit more of a pullback. And doesn't have to close or reverse or anything, but a pullback is usually to be expected as a result of taking out a Fibonacci extension on new all-time highs. So it's kind of something that we're seeing here. Volatility is still being crushed, absolutely crushed right now. Very, very, very close to that zero read. Again, that's just more indicative of potential consolidation, and that's kind of what I'm going to be looking for still within this region. Maybe bouncing between these levels here again until I see a candle closure below this support here. I'm not going to be looking for more downside, but the possibility is still there. Now, if we recover, the target that I'm now looking for is the candle body closure resistance. All these resistances are so tight within each other. God, I got something in my eye. What the hell? Excuse me for just a minute while I try to get my whole life together. What the fuck? I guess that's the price of live streams here, is that anything can happen, right? As I'm talking to you guys, I seem to have something stuck in my fucking eye. It hurts like shit. Okay. Oh shit. Okay, where was I at? Oh, let's get some brain food. Yeah. I do think NASDAQ is, it's about time for NASDAQ to pull back a little bit, maybe see a little bit of a real short-term downtrend. Again, that's not confirmed. That's a little hindsight here. Obviously, the most important thing is to pay attention to the next levels, and we do see the all-time high resistance here is almost perfectly aligned with the 1.414 Fibonacci extension. I do like that read. Any candle closure above that read, again, any candle closure above that read, and I will have no choice but to extend the upside target to the 2.272 right around 16,800. Again, that's not an immediate target. It's not going to shoot up to the moon right off the bat. It's more like a gradual ebb and flow up into that point. Again, not even guaranteeing this is an actual target to be met. It's just something to look forward to as far as price action moving to the upside is concerned. RSI, again, we'll go back to the RSI. I do want to mention a couple of things here. We do see a breach below the bottom side of the bullish control zone, and that exponential being forced back to a negative slope. It was absolutely bullish yesterday, and now there's again a little bit of sign for concern here. Now, what is very possible is that we print a higher low right here and see price continuation onwards and upwards to new all-time highs. But again, if we take out that $14,700 region here, I'm going to be looking for a much greater pullback. To be quite honest with you, there is not much as far as volume within this parabolic up run right here. So as far as downside pressure is concerned, bots and algorithms starting to flip. We could easily be looking at, a major top right now, a swing high as it currently stands, with those two doji style candlestick closures basically forming that top right there. So again, nothing to be extremely concerned about from the bullish perspective. However, I do believe that maybe it's time to start considering the possibility for some more downside movements here. And that's kind of where I'm going to leave NASDAQ. Again, the main signal that I'm looking for here is this cross right here, is this threshold right here. Now, it's possible we could see this bounce, right? We could see the bottom of the top side of the bullish control zone act as support, sending price action to the upside, but likely we see divergence plays as a result from that bounce. Divergence was called on the RSI. The RSI got it better than the stochastics did. Actually, let me look. Where are the points that I need to identify? Here on the 6th and here on the 13th. So let's look at the 6th and the 13th on stochastics, right? 6th, 13th. No divergences here on stochastics, but the RSI seemed to have gotten it, pretty well here. Obviously, it's more of a reactive indicator in comparison to stochastics here. So, nice breakdown, nice pullback on high volume, all suggesting that we see potential pullbacks continue to the downside. That is very, very possible for this one. So we'll move on to SPY futures. I guarantee you it's very similar. Let's take a look. Yeah, nice little pullback below that 1.272 breakout point here, just on the red 10 simple. It does seem that we've seen a candle open just below the red 10 simple and basically seen price action fight with that resistance right now. Any candle closure above this resistance, I'll be looking at the all-time high here as the next potential target to the upside. and a break above the all-time high, and I will extend upside targets for SPY futures to the 1.414 Fibonacci extension target right around $4,410, give or take 5 or $10. But for now, if we see today's candle closure below that red 10 simple, I'm going to be looking for a little bit of a greater pullback to the yellow 21 or this prior low right here. And as far as potential reversals are concerned, we have 2 drives of bearish divergence being confirmed right now. Is that enough to send this price action to the downside? It's very possible, to be quite honest with you. Again, this is the major level that I'm looking at as far as downside price action is concerned. Any closure below $4,300, give or take a few bucks, I'm going to be looking for a much greater pullback to the green 55 or the top side of this support region here. The prior all-time high breakout zone, right around the $4,250 region. Very, very, very similar stuff here. We do see stochastics inching closer and closer to the top side of that bottom side of that critical zone. Again, if we see price action move to the downside in confluence with a cross of the threshold here, that's going to be a major signal that I'm likely to act upon, to be quite honest with you. And again, mentioning it from before, we are still seeing the bullish control zone acting as resistance. Actually seeing the exponential broken today and forced back to a negative slope. That is indicative of a little bit more downside movement here until proven otherwise. All of this stuff is extremely, extremely short term. The long-term structure for pretty much everything that I'm going to be looking at is still very much intact and still very much long-term bullish. And I don't want to get into too many long-term stuff, because I do not think the long-term is at any risk of major downside just yet. But as that time approaches, if that time approaches, we will definitely be covering that. We'll go ahead and move on to Dow Jones Industrial Average, still consolidating on those all-time high support levels here, seeing a little bit of a pullback, bounce off the red 10 simple. I do like this price action a little bit more than the other two. Is it possible that we're seeing market rotations? I do believe it is possible that we're seeing market rotations here. We might see Dow Jones Industrial Average here start basically taking over the realm out of the big three. We do see that movement to the upside, forcing volatility to expand a little bit more. I want to see how that reacts in the next few days here, possibly the next couple of weeks. But what's really important that I'm looking for right now is that we see RSI print freaking higher high. We've been seeing price action, consolidate a little bit and print new all-time highs, but all those new all-time highs have been basically triggered with bearish divergence here. I want to see RSI explode. I really do. I want to see more all-time highs with a break above this read here, the 61.30 read, and that would be a confirmed new high on RSI. That is something that I'm paying very, very, very close attention to. The long-term structure still remains intact, quite obviously. Not unless you do this, but we have a 2-point structure, unconfirmed as like a long-term until we get a legitimized third point. I'd rather see RSI come a little closer to that region, but again, that's just telling you the long-term structure for these big three here are still very much intact from my perspective here. And I'm just going to be looking for a little bit of pullback action and consolidation as a result here. Now, seeing that we're acting as support upon this region, I still have to go on the side that we'll likely see Dow Jones here extend to the 1.272 Fibonacci extension target. Any closure above 35,200, and I'll extend that target to the 1.414, right around 35,400. That's the upside potentials. To the downside, any closure below the top side, the breakout point, the prior all-time high breakout point, and I'll be looking for a little bit of a greater pullback, obviously hitting the yellow 21 or this prior low here first. Any closure below that, and I'll be going to the middle of the box here at 34,230. We'll just call it 34,300, give or take a few bucks. Ultimately would be the downside target, but we're on a higher low structure, printing higher lows and higher highs. We are still very bullish, still closing above all major moving averages. Again, I have no reason to think that this is bearish at all. Stochastics coiling back to the upside. Excuse me, coiling back to the upside. It's what I want to see. All that coiling action with stochastics inside the bullish critical zone is indicative of massive potential, massive bullish control, for Dow Jones Industrial Average. And, all the signs point to up, man. All the signs for this one still point to up, and until proven otherwise, that's kind of going to be my bias on Dow Jones. We'll go ahead and scroll on to Dixie here. Where is my Dixie chart? There she be. What do we got here? Support on the red 10 simple. Support on the red 10 simple. Volatility expanding slightly. Nothing too crazy. What's more important here is this fucking stochastics cross to the upside, right? I want to see continuation. I want to see that exponential regain a positive slope. This could easily play as a little bit of a fake out here. We typically, well, not typically, so we sometimes see these potential crosses up get completely faded right off the bat here. This one looks a little more stronger, to be quite honest with you, which is a confirmed bounce technically off the bottom side of the bullish control zone. Or close enough is close enough. It would be, a confirmed support of the bottom side of the bullish control zone. It's close enough for me to confirm it like that, again, from my perspective. And we do see a nice little support off the red 10 simple. Consolidating still between the supports and that blue 377. That blue 377 is the most important factor that I'm looking for at the current moment in time for any upside potential. Any closure above that blue 377... I mean, yeah, this is a valid target, to be quite honest with you. I'd be looking for extension to this region here, but on the more aggressive side, on the more realism side, I would be looking for full-blown extension to this region here at 93.26. Again, this is the last high we need to see taken out for me to be on the full long-term bullish structure here. I'm not going to get into that whole conversation that much tonight. We know it's bearish. It's very bearish. It's been bearish for quite some time now, and until we close candles on the daily or the weekly above this region here, preferably the weekly above this region here, printing new highs on the structure, I'm going to remain with a bearish bias here. But it does seem that the price action most definitely has the probability of achieving that result. Again, I want to see the blue 377 taken out, and I want to see the blue 377 taken out and back tested and confirmed as support, right? We got this candle technically above the blue 377 and it rejected immediately. I want to see candle closures above it, and I want to see support along that moving average here before I'm convinced that we have another potential try at a potential stab at that high here. But stochastics giving off a beautiful signal. What does the RSI say? More chop, right? More chop here. Negative slope exponential is indicative of resistance upon upside targets being met. I want to see RSI take control. I want to see RSI break with the blue 377 breaking, and I want to see RSI dip through the bottom side of the bullish control zone, and again, back test it alongside a back test with the blue 377 and confirm it as support before a potential rip to the upside. Very simple stuff from my perspective here as far as this asset is concerned. Yes, it's bullish. Technically, medium term, it's bullish. Not long-term, not quite yet. I'm not looking for long-term reversal again until we print a new high. So that's going to be Dixie here. We're going to go ahead and move on to Mr. Bitcoin. And it's getting close. It's getting so close. I'm so ready, okay? Another candle closure below that blue 377. Now, we've seen that happen 2 times before. Here on the 21st of June and here on the 24th of June. Both of which have confirmed as lows, both of which saw full recoveries back above the blue 377. As a result, we ended up getting this descending triangle formation here. That descending triangle formation has broken, and if we wanted to do a measured move off of the top of the structure to the bottom of the structure, what do we get? Let's take a look. There's your potential target right here. And that is in confluence with a potential break of the bottom side of this box here, which is again the last hope region from my perspective for Bitcoin's bullish perspective survival. Any closure below 30,500 or give or take 50 bucks, something like that. Any closure below this low here. I think volume profile is gonna take over on that, and I really think price action is gonna bleed to the first target to the downside, right around 26,550, give or take a few bucks, would be my first extension to the downside. This actually confirming a break to this target to the downside would just be confluence. It would just be confirmation that we're looking for much more downside price action for Bitcoin's perspective. On the other hand, any recovery for a bullish perspective, oops, I meant to delete that. My bullish perspective, I need to see a low and I need to see a rip at the bare minimum back above this region at 35. We'll just call it 36,000. But even if that were to happen, we likely see heavy, staunch resistance upon meeting that green 55 or the purple 200 moving average here. We are seeing that death cross gain more and more divergence as time goes on, which is indicative of more downside price action. Also, we are finally seeing volatility begin to expand. It's going to be more of a signal from my perspective if we see that boom cross above the moving average and the moving average being forced to a positive slope. The fact that we're curling up on the downside is a slight hint that expansion could occur, could result to the downside. And the low read here could also be indicative of very violent moves to the downside. Again, if the condition of the bottom side of that area is confirmed broken, I will be looking for massive expansion on volatility to the downside. RSI, let's see what it's doing. Still continuing down. Actually, confirming the negatively sloped exponential as resistance for the first time and continuing on to the downside. Stochastics still continuing to the downside, taking out the last low here, both from from a stochastic perspective and an exponential perspective. We see both of them have taken out the low. That is indicative of potential momentum further to the downside. Again, everything from my perspective is still lining up for the downside movements here. And when we get those, if we get those confirmation breaks, I will be setting my trades up along this region here, right? I want to see a break and I want to see a back test to confirm that as full-blown resistance. That's where I would enter. I would enter on the confirmation of resistance, and then I would ride the wave to the downside. Obviously managing my risk along the way, pulling out profits upon my first target here, and potentially seeing more profits along the second target here and the third target here. And I will be managing my risk the whole way. And that's Bitcoin. I'm really not bullish on this right now. To be quite honest with you, we're just seeing evidence of downside pressure, right? We got this little bit of a trappy trap fake out here. Got people a little excited for maybe a potential reversal. Boom, trap. And we're seeing consolidation downwards as a result after that trap was confirmed. So I'm bearish, man. I don't want to put my opinion out there. I do trade technical analysis, but if I had to put my opinion out there, I would have to say that Bitcoin is likely to continue down with capitulation and volatility expansion. So as far as Bitcoin is concerned, those are my thoughts, those are my processes, and that's kind of where I'm going to leave that one. Let's go ahead and move on to requests. We got a couple of them. AMC being a big one. We're going to go ahead and do that one first, as that seems to be a huge topic of conversation here. We did see post-market go back up all the way to the green 55, but we don't have post-market information anymore, so I'm going to base my analysis based off of this closure here. We got to bounce off of the Cyan 89 moving average here. At the bottom side of this box, I do like that confluence at the 3152 region, I think just slightly above. And technically, let's see if that lines up. Technically, just barely breaking that resistance. Just barely, right? Just barely. What I want to see, or what's to expect to see from both perspectives, I want to see a closure today. I want to see a closure today above the green 55 before I look at this as a low. And even if that condition is met, we need to put in a level, right? I'm on lower high watch until we take out this region here. This region being what? We'll just call it $60. There's no high calls. This isn't a high. This isn't a low. This is the last top right here, and this is the last bottom, right? So we got a couple of levels as potential targets to the upside. Even if this is confirmed as a low, it is a change of behavior. That's a fact. A change of behavior is indicative of more downside movement. That is a fact. Again, classical technical analysis has facts within the theory of classical technical analysis, right? We do know bearish hats should be put on when we see a major new low taking out prior lows being printed on an asset. We do have a change of behavior. That much is confirmed. We had a change of behavior on this candle closure here. Barely, but it was confirmed as a change of behavior when we saw this bottom side of the box here being tested. And what did we get? We got a result. We got more downside as a result, violently, to be quite honest with you. Now we see candle closures below the green 55. More evidence of potential downside movements. We see the RSI really collapsing here. Yes, there is a long-term structure potential in formation right now. But we need to eliminate this point because it's no longer valid. These are the points that I'm looking at now. I want to see RSI continue up, but again, it's still bearish, right? It is bearish. This is the first step in a downtrend, okay? We got a lower low confirmed. We took out, this low and these lows, right? Now, what I am looking for is lower highs, okay? So even if we do rip back up to the upside, I am absolutely not looking for new all-time highs until the condition of closing back above this region at the minimum is confirmed. I need to see new highs, right? I need to see higher highs. We have a lower low. My next disposition is to look for a lower high. Very tradable. It is very possible we see momentum carry AMC to this region first, and then likely this region. But we need confirmation of new highs, right? We need a new all-time high. Pretty much we need a new all-time high before we flip back to the long-term bullish perspective here, okay? We do have, again, the close below the green 55, the back test and rejection of the green 55. Yes, we closed above resistance, which is indicative of potential movements to the upside. However, if we see a closure above the green 55, the next target that I'm going to be looking for is this one right here at 42.75. Any candle closure above 42.75, I will be looking at this target as the next potential move, the next potential extension. This is where my lower high watch begins. If we get a closure above there, I will still be on lower high watch until we break this region here, all the way back up at 59 bucks. That's the major level that I'm looking at for the immediately bullish perspective. Until that condition is met, I have no choice. Per my own classical technical analysis theory, my own rules, I am on lower high alert, which means if we do get a confirmed lower high, we are in a downtrend. And a downtrend is what? Bearish. Just saying. Just saying, man. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. This has been a cataclysmic downside, right? All the apes are hodling, right? All the apes are hodling. We saw almost 50% of the asset lose its value. Clearly, all the apes weren't hodling, but yeah, there's evidence that people are buying that Cyan 89. I do like that call. It is enough for me to look for extension back to the upside. We could be seeing a bounce, but again, I'm still on lower high alert until proven otherwise. But I could definitely be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I will trade accordingly. Right? My opinion is invalid. My opinion doesn't matter. What really matters is the technicals. What is the chart telling me? The chart right now is telling me more downside is more likely and a lower high is more likely than seeing a parabolic run to new all-time highs. Again, until proven otherwise, that is the perspective that I am viewing AMC with. To the downside, if we continue to reject the green 55 here, which is a major moving average, it has a lot of confluence with movements, major movements here. Closures that continue to close below the green 55 here. I'm going to be looking for this as my potential target to the downside, right around 31.50. Any closure below 31.50, I'm going to be looking for a much greater pullback all the way to this region around 20 bucks. Now, long term, right? We're talking like years out, right? From like the monthly, the 6 month, the yearly chart. As long as we're above this, 14.30, technically we're long-term bullish. We could see price action pull all the way back to 14.30, and as long as we're closing candles above that region, I am ultimately going to be extremely long-term bullish. That does not mean I have to be short, medium-term, and semi-long-term bullish. I'm actually bearish on those three, but from the long-term perspective, we can see a much greater pullback over the course of months to the $14.30 region. Any closure below there completely destroys any long-term bullish perspective I have. So while it is long-term bullish, that does not mean we're going to see extreme violence to the upside, new all-time highs right off the bat. It's not the way this shit works here. We need to see confirmation and price action go in the direction that we desire before we make those decisions. So that's AMC. It's still very exciting. It is still very violent. We have a lot of volatility right now. It's very fun to play with, but for now, I want to see a little bit more. I want to see if this, starts to consolidate a little bit, or if this actually confirms as a low and rips back to the upside. But for now, That's my disposition on AMC. We'll go ahead and move on. BBIG, Vidco Ventures. Oh my God, what the flying shit? I don't even know how to perceive that. Major gap down to open, bouncing severely off the extension. I'm looking for this. I mean, this target was met, but I'm going to be looking for this target to break actually. And if we get a closure back above $4.27 here, we'll just call it 4.30, which is the 0.786 Fibonacci extension. The bullish retracement level. Any closure above that, I'm gonna be looking at this high right here to be the next target, right around $5. Any closure above $5, and I don't see any reason why we wouldn't see any new all-time highs. Obviously, a closure above $5.30. I'll look for extension to 1.272 Fibonacci extension target, right around the $6.80 region. Let's take a look at momentum oscillators, see what we got. Beautiful, beautiful read on stochastics. This is the kind of read that I myself would take a clear cross, clear momentum to the upside, and a breach of that 20 read on stochastics back into the bearish control zone. Those are the type of signals that I look for as far as long signals are concerned. Me personally, I'd fucking long this right now. Closures above all major moving averages, looking very momentous, looking like it wants to rip to the upside. RSI, higher low structure, right? I mean, we took out these took them out, took the hose out, took out the lows here, but you know, we could still, in theory, put a trend line that technically works, in my opinion. Let's see if, yeah. I mean, if that's not long-term bullish, I don't know what the fuck is. That's definitely long-term bullish. A lot of chop, you know, downtrends in the midst, but we're seeing like macro cycle lows. Boom, boom, boom. Maybe this one's a macro cycle low. We'll have to wait and see. But that move, bursting with bullish divergence, sending RSI back through above that 50 read, another signal that I would take as far as longs are concerned. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not a financial advice. These are things that I would do. I would be taking this signal with a long entry right here because why? We got that bullish divergence call. Actually, the second drive of bullish divergence, ripping through that 50 read, crossing back above the exponential, forcing the exponential back to a positive slope. Your stochastics crossing above that 20 read back into the bearish control zone. Very positive momentum here with multiple breaks of resistance here. Yeah, I have no reason not to think that this one won't extend back to the upside here. Obviously, again, the first target that I want to see broken is 4.30 before I'm looking for $5 even. To the downside, if I see a pullback below $3.91, I'm going to be looking for retracement all the way back down to this region here at $3.55, maybe lower, but I don't want to get too hindsight with this one to the lower side, just for the fact that we have evidence of bullish momentum here on this asset. So that's that's BBIG. That's where I'm going to leave that one. My throat is so dry. Take a look at Ford. Downtrend. This is a downtrend. Daily downtrend for sure is continuing. I'm going to be looking for that green 55 to break more likely as a result of a closure below this support, or excuse me, yeah, this previous support, technically confirming it as resistance. That is close enough to be close enough for me to consider that resistance. I am going to be looking for more pressure to the downside, especially if we take this out here on a daily candle closure basis. Taking this out here leads me to believe that the next downside target is going to be the Cyan 89, right around 13.40. Any closure below there, look at the distance between the moving averages. Obviously, that wouldn't be the first target to the downside if that condition were to be met. These are actually the next two targets to the downside upon seeing potentially the Cyan 89 break. But downtrend is downtrend is downtrend, and you know we're seeing bearish control here, right? We're seeing this coiling action. Neutral zone here getting rejected. Close enough is close enough for me to consider this rejection. Soft upside momentum. This is weak. Stochastics to the upside is weak. Obviously, we're seeing that coiling, and it's kind of the opposite perspective. If you see stochastics coiling, in the bullish control zone, that's indicative of like extreme bullish momentum, right? Well, we're seeing stochastics curl curling and coiling around in the bearish control zone. Obviously, it's not in the critical zone, but coiling in the bearish control zone is still indicative of bearish momentum. I'm getting my words mixed up today. RSI a lot more serious in my opinion. We got that downside movement crossing below that critical read. Right, the 50 read is an important read as far as swing of momentum is concerned. Are we printing new lows? We are printing new lows on an RSI, continuing to use that negative exponential as resistance here, right? Crossing below that 50 read tells me more downside is very, very, very likely. Volatility a little bit sideways, but, it has expanded on some of this downside movement here, actually contracting. It's contracting. We could see this as consolidation between this point and this point. Again, as long as this point holds, we could consider that consolidation as long as we see it hold and you start bouncing back and forth. But again, if this level breaks, everything that I just mentioned is going to be confirmed to the downside, and I will be looking for more downside movement. However, any candle closure above this region here, 14.45, I will look for extension all the way back up to this region here, right around 15.55, and that's about as far as I'm going to go on forward as far as extension to the upside, because this is a downtrend. Here's your top. Right here is your top. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low? Question mark? Maybe. Possibly. We'll go ahead and leave that one. NLSP. NLSP. NLS Pharmaceuticals Ltd. Oh my God. How old is this? Came out in January. I mean, this is clearly consolidation. There is no momentum at all. Obviously, the bears have control. Consolidation between this point and this point. I mean, look at fuck. Played the whole range in one fucking day. Holy crap. Let's go ahead and get a couple more levels here. Where's your top? This is your top here, right? No, this is your top. This is resistance. Right there. Bottom. That's a bottom. We're just gonna mark off some levels, get a general gist, right? I'm gonna try to analyze this. I think that's where I'm gonna leave it. Right there. Clearly consolidation. Evidence of that is your volatility percentile continuing to contract throughout this consolidation phase. That's just more confirmation of consolidation. And we're seeing RSI basically being controlled within one region. The bearish region, unfortunately, but it's indicative of consolidation here, bouncing between the 50 read and the bottom side of the bullish control zone. Obviously not really fully confirming a test of the bottom side, but we can definitely use trend lines for confirmation on this here. Again, it's consolidation. This is clearly consolidation. But as far as the technical is concerned, if we break this region, there's realistic. Oh, maybe there's another target. See, that's why you gotta look, man. That's why you gotta look. Another target right here. Yeah, if we get a closure above this region here, which we obviously didn't get, we actually tested it and rejected it today. Any close above $3.78, I would have to go and say that the next extension would likely be this region here. If I can get my fucking sensitive ass mouse right on that line, fuck. $4, we'll just call $4.15. $4.15 would be the next target upon a confirmation closure above this region here. Any closure below this region, $2.91. I'll be looking for a really greater pullback, a much greater pullback to this region here at $2.30. But at the end of the day, consolidation is consolidation, and it does seem to be a very, very, very neutral market. And that's kind of how I'm going to be looking at this. It looks like for quite some time here. Obviously, seeing an attempt to try to, to try to see some upside momentum got completely rejected. It doesn't mean there's a lot of downside momentum either. Again, it's just consolidation. That's how I'm seeing it. Consolidation is consolidation is consolidation until we see a break of the greater range, either to the upside or to the downside. That's as much as I can say about this asset, just due to the fact, again, it's not that old. I can't apply confident technical analysis to something that's not even a year old yet. So I did the best I could. I hope that is relevant to you if you're looking for a couple of tips on that one. But as far as that one's concerned, I think that's where I'm going to leave it. Blin, BLIN is the next asset. Bridgeline Digital Incorporated, NASDAQ. Let's take a look. What the fuck? Oh, this is going to be another one of those shit fucks, right? Oh my god. Change of you know, we got an attempt at a full change of behavior. Right, a confident change of behavior. Let's go ahead and play with some levels here. I'm gonna mark this one off. There's some wicks. Let's take a look. Some of these newer assets I have to really really take a look at just to get an idea. Maybe a little bit more to the down here. Maybe that's a little bit more relevant, to be quite honest with you. To the downside, let's look for more. Here's a target. Boom. Parabolic drop off. Consolidation right here. I mean, this asset has been looking real fucking bad. Actually, I think I can move that one up a little bit to catch the greater range. Yeah, there we go. Now let's get some levels on this right here. I mean, it's definitely toppy. This one's definitely toppy, reacting on this region here very violently. We got that close above the blue 377 here, forcing those moving averages to a positive stature here. We are seeing, we seem to be playing with those moving averages right now, at least the lower period ones and this high period one here. But this is definitely indicative of a potential pullback to the yellow 21. Does that line up with anything? Actually, a little bit it does. Let's go ahead and confirm that. Yeah, that actually lines up with one of those levels here. You know, we could see this act as support, very possibly, but this is a nasty chart, to be quite honest with you. Yes, there is an uptrend. That much is confirmed, but this here is a downtrend leading into this parabolic ripoff. So maybe this isn't even in consideration. Maybe we could be seeing a new uptrend in formation. Yes, that is very possible. But what I want to see are higher highs and higher lows. And right now, we got this high right here, and then this low here, followed by this high here. And that is a lower high, confirmed. Basing support right here. Maybe we see this hold as a major level. Maybe I can just do this for now. Any candle closure below $6, I would look for a greater pullback to the yellow 21 first, and likely much lower to this region here at $4. However, on the flip side, any close above the red 10 simple, and more importantly, this region here, I'll be looking for extension back above the blue 377 to this target here at $1.11. That's kind of where I'm going to leave it. Volatility is extreme right now. Not really looking for too much consolidation just yet. I want to see it kind of tip over a little bit, but that doesn't mean we couldn't see consolidation. Typically, we do see consolidation right after we hit those violent 100th percentile targets here from an HVP perspective. And then as soon as we start seeing drop off, we typically see consolidation. It doesn't always have to play like that, but typically we do see some consolidation as a result of the volatility dropping off a little bit. RSI looks nasty, to be quite honest with you. Negative exponential back below the bullish control zone, confirming it as resistance, looking for continuation to new lows here, actually being confirmed on new lows today. Do we see a reversal, or do we see continuation to the downside? I would say likely continuation to the downside, unless we hold support and continue to consolidate. We do actually have a little bit of consolidation right now, so I'd say wait for the next levels. This is a little concerning as well. Lower highs being confirmed. Rejection, the bottom side of the bullish control zone is confirmed. It was actually confirmed on the 7th, and continuation to the downside. We do see a little bit of waning momentum from the bearish perspective here on the stochastics, but both of them are still pointing down. I have to say I'm looking for continuation to the downside as a result. So that's that one. That's Blin here. Long term, it's fucking dog shit, to be quite honest with you. It's an absolutely shit chart, but ACST, Asset Indonesia TBK. I'm gonna go on a whim and say you're not looking at the foreign exchange. We'll go ahead and do the pharma, because I know you seem to be into the pharma ones a lot, so we're gonna go ahead and look at that one. Yeah, that makes sense. We did look at this one I think yesterday. Consolidation is continuing to play out. Volatility is absolutely ecstatically crushed here. Evidence of that is more just coiling between the upper neutral zone and the lower neutral zone here. We could actually put some horizontals here to confirm that as consolidation. Yeah, consolidation is consolidation is consolidation. I'm going to be looking for more consolidation. Actually, the greater range is this low here, 48 cents, and this high here at 61 cents. And technically what I'm looking for is either a break below this region to confirm a test of this region here, or a break above this region, 60 cents. Anything above 60 cents, I'll be looking at the the blue 377 is my next potential target. We are in an uptrend. But it's we need to see continuation, right? It is an uptrend, right? We got our higher high. Here's our higher low in conjunction with this low. Maybe this low too. I want to see more higher highs being printed on this one. It does have bullish potential, right now. But if we see a breakdown below the white 200 simple, it's going to be all bad in my opinion for this one. As the next target to the downside is about 41 cents. Anything less than 41 cents, I do think the long-term uptrend potential will be completely washed off the map. Realistically, the next target would be 35 cents, followed by 24 cents. Stochastics deep in the critical, or not the critical zone, the bearish control zone. Yeah, I would say consolidation until we see either the lower side of the range breaking or the upper side of the range breaking. That's kind of where I'm gonna leave this one. We'll move on. IDEX. The fuck is that? Oh, down. I'm looking for more down. Oh man, right off the bat, I don't even need levels. This is the last hope level right here. We're already seeing closures below the white 200 simple and the 200 exponential moving average. We are seeing this downside movement here starting to collapse volatility, which means maybe we see some consolidation, or maybe we're still consolidating. Maybe we're already consolidating. Yeah, this is a greater range. This is definitely a greater range, but we're putting a lot of downside pressure on the bottom side of that greater range, and if the greater range breaks to the downside, this will be my next target to be fair, $1.95. Any closure below this region here, I'll be looking for a greater pullback to $1.95. And on the flip, I would be using moving averages here. More importantly, the white 200 simple. Anything above the white 200 simple likely results in consolidation, continuation to the top side of the range, which has been rejected multiple times now at about $3.21. We do see stochastics deep in that bearish critical zone. We have a cross up, right? I want to see the cross up continue above the threshold here into the bearish control zone, alongside more upside price action, potentially confirming this as a low. We are pretty close to confirming a low right now, but again, we need to see continuation as a result, and likely a continuation drives RSI through the exponential, and that would be likely what confirms that as a low before seeing continuation to the upside. But we had a change of behavior. We are technically in an uptrend. Low, high, low. That's a higher low, higher high, lower high, higher low potentially, right? If we do get this confirmed as a higher low, this is technically an uptrend, to be quite honest with you. I mean, not in the greater scheme of things, but this chart just looks like it's been consolidating its entire life, to be quite honest with you. Massive range, pump and dump. It definitely looks like a pump and dump, but the action that we're seeing now is an outlier. Again, to be absolutely maximized bullish, I need to see closures above $5. Actually need to see new all-time highs, technically. I mean, we do have highs up here, but as far as the greater range is concerned, this is basically the top of it here, right around $5. $5 would, lead me to believe hey, maybe we see, the all-time high being tested and maybe a breakout to new all-time highs, but it's just big old range of consolidation and dog shit, to be quite honest with you. I don't mean to roast the chart, but I'm roasting this chart. It is absolutely choppy. I would never in my life trade this asset. So it is a penny stock. I don't put any faith in penny stocks. They're not reliable. They're not juicy stocks. So take it with a grain of salt if you'd like. That's kind of how I'm looking at IDEX. This is going to be the last one for the day. XELA. Exela Technologies Incorporated. Yes, it's an uptrend, but this is another one that's just dog shit. Actually getting blown apart today, down 17%. That's definitely a top. We gotta start levels to the downside here because we are looking at negative momentum pressure right now. Volatility is still extremely high, which means there's still violence in the market. We haven't really hit 100 reads yet, so the potential to see that is still valid. Any break below that support, the red 10 simple, below $3, I'm going to be looking for a pullback to this region here at about $2.40 to the downside. That would be my first target. Oscillators are very, very, very telling right now. We got that top call, right? We got that top call taking out. No, we haven't taken out a low yet. We actually took out the exponential and the bottom side of the bullish control zone. Here, right here is a signal for me. Right here. Once this signal confirmed, I'd be shorting the shit out of this right now. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Me personally, if I saw this signal today, I'd be getting ready to short here. And more importantly, in confluence with the potential break of this support, that would be my tell right there. Stochastics basically giving you the same call. It is a higher high. That much is confirmed in this structure here. It is a higher high. However, we are rejecting the top side of the bullish control zone with violence here, forcing that exponential back to a negative slope. So again, all the evidence is pointing to a little bit more of a pullback until proven otherwise. Unless we confirm a low on this support, I'm going to be looking for more downside. Now, if we do confirm a low on this, the next target is going to be here, right around $4.58. Any closure above there, this is the next target, $5.86. But again, I need to see momentum oscillators, showing me decent signals that is a likely probability. So that's it for Exela. And that's it for the stream, guys. It's been 51 minutes, a decent stream today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tick that little bell. We're still on the road to 1,000 members in the Blackfire Technical Analysis community. We're up to almost 250 in the Facebook community. I'm still trying to convince the Facebook users to transfer on over to the YouTube channel so we can have more visibility and maybe we can reach a little bit bigger of an audience. But that's going to be it for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay safe, stay happy.